Hi, my name's Ian. I was born in the town of Blyth in Northumberland in 1959. Unfortunately, my mother succumbed to leukemia and died. As you can imagine, it was very devastating to my father. Didn't know what to do. Eventually decided to go and live with my nana. She brought me up as a Catholic. I've lived a very sheltered life actually. Went to this Catholic school, helped serve on the altar, helped out in the youth clubs, and everything was fantastic really. You know, I had a very good childhood. But all of these things for the church, I just did it out as a sense of duty really. I knew about God, I believed in God, but I didn't really know God. I didn't know anything personally about God. There was nothing in here. I just knew about him. Obviously girls came onto the scene in the late teens, and I got married, had two wonderful children, a boy and a girl, and everything just seemed wonderful. Life was good, but I drifted away from the church. Married life and children to look after seemed to take priority. And as I say, everything was good for 14 years, until one day in August the 29th, 1996, when my 14-year-old son Anthony went out with his friend fishing one day, and that was the last time I ever saw him. He was swept away out to sea by a freak wave. It come and took them both out. His friend managed to get back, my son Anthony didn't. And for 10 days, my wife and I went up and down that coastline, praying for a miracle from God. Unfortunately, it wasn't to be, and Anthony was washed up on Blythe Beach 10 days later. Now this just totally devastated both our lives, and we seemed to push everybody away and everything, including my daughter Emma. You can't imagine how it affects you until it actually happens. And through the years, we just seemed to get bitter towards each other and towards God and towards myself. You just blame yourself for everything. And all this toil ended in separation and finally divorce after 25 years of marriage. This is when I found Janine. She came into my life, and we were both looking for something from God. And she came to this conclusion for me that God does love me, no matter what had happened to my life. God does love me, and he's got a plan for me, and he has a plan for Anthony as well. And Anthony will be there in heaven watching over me. And she told me how God had gave his only son, Jesus, for me. God had turned his back on his son, watched them drive nails through his flesh, pierce his skin with a spear, and he died on that cross for me. Now God actually done that. I couldn't have done that. I could never have done that to my son. I lost my son. I would have given my life for my son, but I could never have done what God done. And that just hit me in my soul, that how much God must really love me. He must love everybody, and everybody must come to realise this. So we did look out for churches, and it was one day I was up at church up at Seaton Delville, and there was a little tap on the shoulder, and it was Hilary, and she was there taking communion as we were, and she says, "Why don't you come down to the church at the Silverlink? It's called the Edge." And we did. We came down the next Sunday, and as Dave says, as he does on every Sunday, to close your eyes, bow your head, and to make a commitment to God. Now, I would never have done this ordinarily, but somehow something inside of me just automatically raised my hand And that was when I committed my life to God. Because I know God is my Father. He is our Father. He will always look after you. He means you no wrong whatsoever, no matter what people or you may think. Everything is done for a purpose. And He gave His Son's life so that we may live again. And I know through this that I will see my Son again in heaven. And I'm just waiting for that day to come.